Welcome back. WSU Baseball has their home opener this weekend. We're going to tell you what you need to know about their season,
as well as a preview into both the men's and women's Pac-12 tournaments. Next on
CougZone. WSU Baseball is back. The Cougars have started hot, being 7-1, only losing to a tough UC Irving. The Cougars return home to Bailey Brayton Field to face Southern Indiana for a 3-game series starting March 3rd.
They will then make the trip to Oregon to face the Beavers for another 3-game series starting Friday, March 7th, being the first Pac-12 team the Cougs will face this season. We have WSN correspondent Alex Dorfler here to tell us about the season and their hard start. So Alex, how about that hot start?
Yeah, Cougars started off really hot, 7-1 right now. This is the best start they've had since 2010 when they started 9-0. And that team actually was the last team to make the NCAA tournament. So this is a good sign, good start.
And what players should we be looking out for on the field this season, Alex?
Yeah, right now, junior Jonah Avequeno, he's our leadoff hitter, center fielder. He had a spectacular catch the other day against UC San Diego to close the game off, but hitting super well. And Jacob McKeon, he was a Pac-12, all Pac-12 player last year and is on pace to do it again. They're leading our offense, pitching. Caden Cable, he's had 2 really good outings. Started a game and also closed a game, got the win, so 2 wins, and yeah, so we're looking pretty good actually.
That's really exciting. So with so many great series on the schedule, what's one that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, the upcoming series against the home opener against USI, University of Southern Indiana, even though they're like a mid-major team, not one of the Power 5 conferences, they're still good. I know they're pretty new to Division I, but in Division II they were killing it, won a couple championships. But that's going to be actually like a good series, and I think people should go to that. But then going to Oregon against Oregon State. Oregon State's they've had a good baseball team the last couple years, and that's like a really big test to see how we will do throughout the season. But I mean, long season, we're got a lot more to go, but Coach Brian Green, I heard he said that there's like good vibes in the locker room and that they're having fun out there, which is most important.
Yeah, and you just said, Alex, we have a long season to go into, and I'm just wondering, how far into the postseason do you think we're going to make it this year?
Yeah, I think we'll make the postseason. We'll see after these next 2 series, Oregon State especially, but I think if all the players are playing good together, they're having fun out there. Defense is a little shaky right now, but nothing they can't improve on. But yeah, I think we got a good team, good future for the program. The last 4 years, we've had a winning record, so pretty good.
Well, what do you think Brian Green is building? You spoke to the vibe in the clubhouse. How have you seen that grow the last few years?
Well, just seeing leaders like Jonah Avequeno and Jay Mack just step up and lead these younger guys. Will Crosswell, he's sophomore catcher. He hit a go-ahead home run the other night against UC San Diego. Actually, pretty much won us the game there, so that was good to see. But yeah, I think we got a bright future ahead of us. I think he's a good coach for us, keeping vibes high.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alex.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to being at Bailey Brayton this Friday. WSU women's basketball tipped off the final regular season weekend for program first win. The Cougars beat the UCLA Bruins in Poly Pavilion for the first time, 62-55. Tara Wallach stepped up for the Cougs with 15 points and 2 3-pointers, and Bella Mercatete put together her 7th career double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds. Charlize Ledger-Walker scored 12 points and added 2 blocks and 1 steal. The Cougs played some of their best defense of the year against a top 25 team. They held the Bruins to 15 points below their season average and 10% below their average shooting clip, as the Bruins scored just 55 points and shot 29% from the floor. The Cougs held the lead for the majority of the game, and when the Bruins got within one possession in the final minute, Wallach drilled a three-pointer to keep the game out of reach. Head coach Cami Etheridge's 2023 team tied their mark from last season for the most single-season wins in program history with 19.
On Saturday, the Cougs lost to the USC Trojans 68-65 in double overtime. Star guard Charlize Ledger-Walker got her second double-double of the season, scoring 17 points and grabbing 10 boards in her 50 minutes of play. With the loss, the Trojans successfully swept the Cougars during the regular season.
Despite losing their last game of the regular season at USC, the Cougar women's basketball team's stock improved as the Cougs rose to an 8 seed in the most recent ESPN bracketology. The Cougs have a chance to climb even further in the Pac-12 tournament starting Wednesday, as they will be the 7th seed and set to face the University of California in round 1. If they win, they will take on the 2-seeded Utah Utes in round 2. The women's Pac-12 basketball tournament features 7 teams currently in the NCAA tournament field and 2 more on the bubble. It is a great opportunity for the Cougs to test themselves and start another streak before heading to the big dance.
Looking to make a push before the beginning of the Pac-12 tournament, the Washington State men's basketball team is on a 5-game winning streak after 2 wins in Cali, 67-63 versus Stanford on Thursday and 63-57 versus Cal Saturday.
Thursday's 67-63 victory over Stanford was led by TJ Bamba's 22 points, 17 of which came in the second half, and Mohamed Gay's 15-point and 15-rebound double-double. Andre Yakomatsky also went 3 for 5 from three-point range, and Justin Powell led the Cougars in assists with 5. WSU commanded a majority of the game until Stanford went on an 8-1 run, tying up the game with little over 5 minutes left to play. The game then continued to go back and forth until the last 44 seconds in the game, where Bamba knocked down a go-ahead jumper and DJ Rodman sank 2 free throws with 14 seconds left to ice the game, as the Cougs held the Cardinals scoreless for the last 2 minutes and 51 seconds of play.
The men's basketball team's next win against Cal, Saturday, 63-57, was once again led by TJ Bamba, who scored 19 points on a 50% shooting night, and Mohamed Gay's 20-point and 10-rebound double-double. It was a grueling win against a struggling Cal, whose team's record sits in 3-26 for the season. Many Cougars struggled to score from the field, including DJ Rodman and Andre Yakomovsky, who both did not record a made shot, going 0 for 9 collectively from the field, and Justin Powell, who went 3 for 10 from the field. Through the struggles, the game was tied at multiple points throughout the game, but the Cougars never trailed. This is the first time the WSU men's basketball game has completed the Bay Area sweep in back-to-back seasons since the current WSU radio broadcaster Craig Ilo played under the legendary coach George Raveling in 1981 to 1983, according to ESPN. The Cougs men's basketball team sits at a 15-15 team record ahead of their last dance of the season against UW in the Seattle on March 2nd.
Following the last games of this season coming up this week for the Pac-12, teams will gear up for the 2023 Pac-12 Championship Tournament, which takes place from March 8th through the 11th. This year's tournament will once again take place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the WSU men's team sits at the 7th seed with a 10-9 conference record, pending the outcome of their last game. This placement in the Pac-12 tournament would ring up a date with a top 10 ranked opponent later in the second round, with their most likely opponent for the first round being the 10-seeded Stanford team. However, if Utah or Oregon lose their final game, the Cougs could be at the 6th seed, slated to make a Pac-12 tournament appearance. This year, that could cause some troubles for WSU are Arizona State, USC, number 7 Arizona, and number 4 UCLA. So the Cougs have to watch out for those top-ranked teams.
After a quick flight from Hawaii, the men's golf team tried their luck and the University of California hosted the Prestige Tournament. The tournament hosted some of the nation's best, and the Cougs tied for 12th of 24. Shooting a collective 885, the Greens saw the same Cougar lineup as the last tournament, with Jaden Canafio leading the pack. Franklin Lidra was the 6th golfer representing the Crimson and Gray in the individual competition. The Australian sophomore shot 5 over with a 77. Considering the nature of the stiff competition, This is not a bad performance from the team. This will go down as one of the bigger tournaments this season and will serve as a good benchmark for this team's abilities.
It was a historic week for the WSU swim team. Despite a disappointing team finish, the team recorded 18 WSU top 10 times, including 3 WSU records. Freshman Dory Hathazi in the 200 fly, fellow freshman Emily Lundgren in the 200 breast, and the 400 freestyle relay team of Angela DiPaolo, Noelle Harvey, Haley Grady, and Selena Duran. 11 individual finals races included at least one Coug, with Lundgren taking 3rd place in the Pac-12 in the 200 breast. She was the only Coug to reach the podium. Next up, in the CSCAA National Invitational Championships, an event that saw several Cougs participate last season.
WSU track and field team wrapped up the regular indoor season this weekend. Louis Hinchlife tied the second fastest 60-meter in WSU history with a 6:60 in the 17th fastest time in the country. He also placed second in the men's 60-meter. Mason Lawyer placed 5th. Lee Walborn placed second in the heptathlon 1,000-meter and 4th in the heptathlon high jump. He also moves up in the Cougar record book with the 4th all-time highest point total at WSU. With the women's team, Christina Molteni now has the 6th fastest time in program history for women's 3,000 meter with a time of 9 minutes and 26.5 seconds. Skylar Walton placed 10th in the 60 meter with a time of 7.48 seconds. Followed by her teammates, Elise Unruh Thomas placed 13th place, 7.53 seconds finish. And Galena Woolman's 21st place, 7.68 seconds. Ashley Wallenbeck's 26th place, 7.8 second finish, who each had personal best times in the 60 meter. Anna Rogers had her longest jump of the season, finishing in 5th with a jump of 5.99 meters. Kaylee Soley made top 10 in the high jump with 1.65 meters. WSU looks to keep up the hot streak at the NCAA Indoor Championship on March 10th through March 11th in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
WSU tennis continues the winning ways with 2 wins over Eastern Washington and St. Mary's. With the win, the Cougs improved to 19-0 against the Eagles and 2-0 against St. Mary's all time. The win against Eastern Washington was a perfect sweep, 7-0, with the Cougs winning every single set. It was the first perfect 7-0 victory for WSU since the opening match of the spring season against Montana. Then, the Cougs took down St. Mary's 5-2. After losing 2 of 3 doubles matches, the Cougs won all 5 of the completed singles matches. The other match saw number 1 Maxine Murphy retire from her match in the first set, giving St. Mary's their 2nd point of the match. Coming off their winning streak, the Cougs stay in Pullman for conference play, this time of year that Maxine Murphy said that she was most excited for.
The Cougar athletics teams have a jam-packed schedule this week. Starting off with baseball, they play this afternoon at 1 p.m. against the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The baseball team will also play against Southern Indiana this Friday through Sunday here in Pullman. Next, the women's basketball team plays in the Pac-12 tournament quarterfinals this Wednesday in Las Vegas. And as for the men's basketball team, they go up against the University of Washington in Seattle this Thursday. Last but certainly not least, to wrap up the games for this week, WSU women's tennis teams have 2 matches. The first one on Friday against USC in Pullman at noon, and the second one also in Pullman this Sunday at 5 p.m. against UCLA.
The Pullman High School Greyhounds beat the R.A. Long Lumberjacks on Saturday to give them a bye and put them in the quarterfinal section of the state tournament. Pullman was led by Jaden Brown. The star senior guard was able to put up 32 points in a highly competitive game. The Greyhounds trailed the Lumberjacks by as much as 18 points in the second quarter, then went on a 13-0 run to end the first half. They outscored R.A. Long 38-23 in the second half and won the game 67-55. Pullman will now play in the state tournament in Yakima. They will face the winner of Enumclaw versus Anacortes in the quarterfinals on Thursday, March 2nd.
Following USC and UCLA's decision to leave the Pac-12 for the Big Ten for the 2024 college season, the future of the Pac-12 has remained questionable, and what replacements would be coming. The Pac-12 is also struggling to find a suitable broadcasting deal following those 2 big schools' departures, with Apple TV looking like the best option, according to CBS Sports. The top 2 schools the Pac-12 are looking at to replace USC and UCLA are San Diego State and SMU. Assuming other big Pac-12 schools like Arizona, Utah, Oregon, and Washington do not follow suit and join other big NCAA conferences. If that were to happen, other options for the conference are to downsize to the Pac-8, which would contain the schools of Washington State, Oregon State, Arizona State, Cal, Fresno State, Boise State, San Diego State, and SMU. Or the leftover Pac-12 schools would be left to fill out smaller FBS leagues like the Mountain West or Big Sky.
That's it for this episode of CougZone. Check out the Cable 8 YouTube and more WSN content.
Follow us on social media at Wazoo Sports Network on Instagram and Wazoo Sports Net on Twitter. I'm Sam Taylor.
And I'm Tim Fairbanks. We will see you back here next week on CougZone.
Come